What's up? So, look at that. Kazakhstan. Ukraine. Russia. China. Mongolia. India. I wonder, if we look at these, okay, so these places have war going on. We're scared. We're talking about that one wanting war and this one wanting war. And all these have aligned to support this one. And who knows what's actually going on there. I don't even know to call any of this stuff war. This thing happened so fast. No one even cares. It's just gone. There's no war. It was just overthrown. An entire chunk of land. It's like as big as Europe, pretty much. Okay, so we go over here. Let's analyze. This is what I'm talking about: strategic positions on the map. Every piece here is highly. Every piece surrounding this area right here is highly involved in something the last 40 years, pretty much. And some of these places are chokeholds that have been there forever. Like, so let's look at the one chokehold that is not being talked about right now. What do we have? We have Georgia, which there was talk of that, like, I don't know, 20 years ago about Russia taking it over. I think that's part of Russia because some of the areas look like they got Russian symbols, words. Okay, and then we go further down here. We have Armenia. That's exactly where the choke point is. There's the Georgia, and then Armenia is this choke point that hasn't been secured, or has it, because what we're talking about here, Ukraine, in other places, Putin said that this dude's like a national socialist who's trying to run the other place, and he's right. Anyone really trying to defend their nation is a national socialist. But he like tried to identify them. And you have Ukraine, which is also part of old Khazaria, because these places have switched hands so many times that we really, I mean, they all have a back history, right? And so, what do we do about this? We can't like necessarily think we understand what's going on. We have to try to analyze the situation. And I've been analyzing this area of the world for quite a while now. Like, this isn't like the first time I've made a video. I made like a pure documentary on the return to Khazaria, the return to Ukraine. Yeah, hell, that makes me wonder if Putin isn't actually working with them. Because, like I said, I can't know for sure what's going on until I've heard Putin's rhetoric, and his rhetoric is very close to mine if I'm trying not to get banned and stuff. He uses the proper terminology, the proper propaganda, all that you would have to, that I am forced to use, which I hate doing that, so I don't really even try to go that route. I feel it's still deceptive to do it, and it is, but we don't know what Putin's really even saying besides what the West is telling us, and then probably, I don't even know who owns RT, because Russia Today, their leader was executed in USA, so either Putin was sending a message to the USA that we will do anything, or and maybe he was working for the USA, or USA sent a message to Putin that RT will do whatever we say or else. And so one of those three messages was the most probable message being sent. It probably wasn't, hey, the owner of RT, his wife made cold bologna sandwiches when we went there, and it was very disrespectful, so we're going to kill him now. Mikhail Lesin, he got killed in USA. when he visited USA. And there's really no talk about that because the USA media didn't want to talk about it. Just like the USA media didn't want to talk about the overthrow of Kazakhstan. It's not USA, it's the globalist media. It's like, literally, like I'm seeing these other people all over the world backing at the UN, United Nations, and like, man, that group has been so ununited. That like there's been wars going on that they just like turn the other cheek to, and it's like, these are probably some of the weakest nations in the world just getting trampled, and it's like there's really no one allowed to discuss what happened in Kazakhstan. You're not allowed to say, hey, that was like a really quick overthrow. I wish my nation was people who would overthrow the government because gas prices raised a little bit. And no one really wishes that because no one would suggest that their people overthrow their government because the gas prices raise, especially if you understand that the oil market is speculation and therefore gas prices can be speculated and bounced up and down without any sort of regulation. And just like when these things are in a digital market, they can bounce it up down without even money being invested. They can just falsely inflate the figures. Whereas in the old school day, you bought some stocks, you probably got it written down on paper that you got stocks, and then that money goes directly to the company. And if the company doesn't have the money, then they spend it, then they don't have the money to spend. But at this point in time, with the digital, you just add zeros and ones to the computer, and all of a sudden you're rich again. And then, so, I made videos on Kazakhstan, or what was it called before that? Not Kaz, but yeah, I made videos on the Kazakhstan thing. But man, it's hard to remember the name of all this. The Ukraine situation, like long before it became a situation in the open, because it was already a situation. It's been a situation for time immemorial. Time immemorial. Yeah. So, the Armenia thing, that's TYT. If you're a liberal, you know what the Young Turks are. It's like their largest media outlet. The Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian. And that's what their name reflects. TYT reflects the Armenian genocide, actually, because the Young Turks rose up, supposedly, and killed everyone there. And which is, I don't think that was the case. I think it was like invaders who went and killed people, and I mean, some of them were hanging people on crosses, hanging the women on crosses. Like, if you look that up, you can find photos of people of like just lines of crosses where they hung women on crosses and crucified them when they took over that place. And so, look how that, like, I just looked at the map and I knew right away there's going to be something else there. I was like, wait a minute, what's in between those? And it's like, I should have already known that because I'm the one who goes to TYT videos and talks about it in comments, like, how come they're using this label, and it's supposedly at the same time they would oppose the Armenian genocide, but they're kind of using a name related to it, so I'm not sure what to think of any of this, really, but it definitely looks like it's like, I mean, maybe I can't talk of what I think, but it definitely, like, looks like it's just, like, overthrow after overthrow is happening, and then they're, like, focusing on one thing, and then when the other overthrows are happening, they're telling us how good they are, and then when this stuff starts to happen, it's bad. It's kind of like do the opposite of what they say every day. Now, probably not always the best idea, but it is good sometimes, especially when they're trying to narrate a war or something. And it also makes me think it's like with so many people allowed coming out to be anti-war on top of it and being praised as heroes for it, like it's going to be like a baby in incubators, Saddam Hussein type thing, right? Is that what it's turning into, where it's going to be a war against war? It's the war against terror.